Barak Yahuwah. My apologies to my YouTube family. My alarm on my phone went off, and when that happens, the video stops. I pray that very soon that Abba will teach his servant. If anyone here is listening on video, on YouTube, that knows how to edit videos, I pray that you would reach out to me and teach me and show me how to edit videos so that I can merge videos so that I do not have to have separate videos. But this is a separate video. I'm starting this again because we were interrupted because my alarm for the ninth hour offering went off. Nevertheless, continuing to read. Therefore you shall choose life so that you live. And I remind you again that he is the way and the truth and the life, both you and your seed, to love Yahuwah your Alahym, to obey his voice, to obey the Torah, to walk in the ancient path, and to cling to him. For he is your life. For he is your life. Now, Masha spoke earlier that Torah was our life. It is life. If we do it, we will live by it. If we obey the commands, if we obey the Torah, we will live by it. But now here, he is saying, for he is your life. Indeed, he is, because he is Torah. He is Torah. And if you don't understand by now, he is the ancient path. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Torah was in the beginning. In the beginning was Torah. In the beginning is Torah. Everything came to be and was made through Torah. Torah was in the beginning. Torah is the beginning. Torah was with Alahym, and Torah is Alahym. Yes, he is. Torah is life. The word is life. Yahuwah is life. For he is your life and the length of your days, to dwell in the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Ishak, and to Yaqub, to give them. To give them. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. I'm going to read a couple more precepts, and then we're going to shut this down for the ninth hour offering. Barak Yahuwah. Turn to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And we're going to read verses 45 through 47. Verses 45 through 47. And when Moshe ended speaking all these words to all Yasharal, he said to them, set your heart on all the words, on all the Torah with which I warn you today, so that you command your children to guard to do all the words of this Torah. For it is not a worthless word for you. For it is not a worthless word for you, because it is your life. It is your life. Now, we just read that Yahuwah is our life. Indeed, he is, because he is Torah. He is Torah. He is the ancient path. And by this word you prolong your days on the soil which you pass over the Jordan to possess, which you pass over the Jordan to possess. Turn real quickly now to Jeremiah, the 6th chapter. Turn real quickly to Jeremiah, the 6th chapter. Yahu, the 6th chapter. Turn real quickly to Yahu, Jeremiah, the 6th chapter. Verses 16 through 19. Verses 16 through 19. Beginning at verse 16. Thus said Yahuwah, stand in the ways. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Stand in the ways. This is the Abraite word darak, and it is a road as trodden, a road as trodden, figuratively as a course of life, a course of life, or mode of action. And see, and acts for the old, and acts for the old, and acts for the old. Forgive me, family. Forgive me. I'm looking. I got a bunch of notes here. Got a bunch of notes here. But look for the old. And This word here for old is Aulam. Aulam. It says, look for the old. This word is Aulam. Aulam. It is from Strong's Hebrew 5956. Aulam. Aulam. Look for the old. Aulam. And it means to conceal, hide, to be hidden, be concealed, be secret, properly concealed. That is the vanishing point. Generally, time out of mind, past or future. That is practically eternity. 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 So it says, look for the old past. And this word for old is Aulam. There is nothing eternal but Yahuwah. Only Yahuwah is eternal. Only Yahuwah is eternal. And he is Torah, which means that the Torah is the ancient path. Torah is the ancient path. It is the ancient path. It is the old path, because in the beginning was Torah. In the beginning was Torah. And the Torah was with Alahym, and the Torah was Alahym. Torah is the ancient path. It is the ancient path. Let's look at this word for past. And it is the Abarit, not the Eve. Not the Eve. Not the Eve. And it is a beaten track. A beaten track. A path. A beaten track. Indeed, this path is beaten. Why is it beaten? Because this path has been walked since eternity. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. This path is well beaten. It has been walked since eternity. Yes, it has. Before anything was created, and we're going to read a precept to this, Yahuwah walked back and forth in eternity. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And so this path is eternal. It's eternal. It's well beaten. Well beaten and well lit. All we got to do is walk it. Oh, I pray you can understand that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A beaten track, a path where the good way is. Where the good way is. And walk in it. And walk in it. Indeed, your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And walk in it. And find rest. And find rest for yourselves. And find shalom for yourselves. And find rest for yourselves. And find rest for yourself. And this applies to some who are listening here both on Zoom and both on YouTube. But they said, we do not walk in it. We do not walk in it. We do not walk in the ancient path. We do not walk in it. That's burdensome. That's bondage. It don't take all that. We don't walk in it. We don't walk in it. Indeed. Indeed, they worship him with their lips, but their hearts are far from him. We do not walk in it. And I raised up watchmen over you. Yes, he did. And yes, he does. And I raised up watchmen over you and said, listen to a voice of a shofar. But they said, we do not listen. Therefore hear, you nations, and know, O congregation, what is upon them. Hear, O earth, see, I am bringing evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened to my words, nor of my Torah, and they rejected it. Indeed, when you reject the ancient path, you reject Torah, because Torah is the ancient path. Torah is the ancient path. I got 1 minute. I'm going to read this. Actually, I need to break something down. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to stop right here because we're too close. It's 3:55 now. I'm going to stop right here for the 9th hour offering. And we'll continue this message or continue this teaching after the 9th hour. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Brother Michael, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this stand, my brother.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. What about the light? What about the light?
I love it. I love it. It helps. I don't think I've had anybody complaining about me being too dark.
Yeah, is it possible to put it on today?
It's on right now.
Is it on right now?
It's on right now. Yes, sir.
Hey, coming on the 26th, your way, is that too early?
No, it isn't.
All right.
Brother Malak will be here on the 27th.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Y'all willing? That's the plan.
Yahuwah willing. Yahuwah willing. Yes, sir.
Y'all's willing.
All right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Barak Yahuwah. Hey, my twin.
Yes, sir.
Can I get some of that sweet music of yours there, sir? You mind?
Right. Whatever I believe.
All right, Barak Yahuwah.
All right.
Second, the assembly of ourselves together, as it's the habit of some, there's so much more as you see that
y'all are on the encouragement.
that's it. Because ain't nobody in the whole world, everybody ain't seeing it. Nobody in the whole world don't see it, man.
Barak Yahuwah. Let's get ready to celebrate and praise and worship Mashpaka. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah.
See, that's open up the stove.
Barak Yahuwah.
You can't, and I'll be willing to give up all. Can I?
Sounds like you're playing your song, Brother Makaba.
That's right. Hallelujah.
Just missing the voice, that's all.
It's all Yahuwah for sure.
Barak Yahuwah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Worthy is he. How worthy is he. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, Miss Parker, don't quench the root. Don't quench the root, Miss Parker. Don't quench the root. Don't quench the root, Miss Parker. Don't quench the root, Miss Parker. Come on, come on, come on. Your name, how worthy is your name, worthy is your name, Yahuwah is your name. How worthy is your name, Yahuwah is your name. How worthy is your name, how worthy is your name, your name. Barak Yahuwah.
Abba, we thank you, Abba, for everything you do for this Mishpachah, for what you're doing in the midst of this assembly, Abba. We thank you what you're doing with Elder Abba Yahuwah. We thank you for speaking, Abba Yahuwah, this truth right now.
Yes,
in the Bashama Yahusha.
Yes,
we pray, Abba, that you will continue to embellish your word upon us.
Yes,
and that your word continue to be a light unto us, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
that you will reveal your simple things to babes, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes, Abba.
So that we can continue to walk circumspectly before you,
yes,
Abba Yahuwah, and not according to this flesh, Abba.
Yes,
we pray, Abba Yahuwah, that we continue to be obedient in your Torah.
Yes,
we pray, Abba Yahuwah, that you continue to be exalted and continue to kadosh us onto yourself, Abba
yes,
Yahuwah. Oh, Abba, we take this word that is so simple, that we take it deep, Abba Yahuwah, into our own nefesh, Abba Yahuwah, so that we can be right before you.
Yes,
so that our prayers were not abominable before you, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
so that you can hear us as we are being obedient children before you, Abba.
Yes,
we thank you for revealing your truth to us.
Yes,
we thank you for revealing your understanding to us.
Yes,
we thank you for revealing your heart to us, Abba Yahuwah, so that we can be children before you, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
so continue to do your good pleasures, Abba.
Yes,
continue to do your will. And we will do as you say, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
we will be obedient children unto you, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes, Abba.
Oh, Abba, reveal much more to us, so that we were not hindered along the path that you are taking us through, Abba.
Yes, Abba.
We thank you for all that you do. We thank you for just being so good to us, that you have given us even a day to come to you, so that you can reveal more of you to us, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
and as obedient servant unto you, Abba, we pray, Abba Yahuwah, that this word is not going to fall on stony ground or wayside, or on just ground that is not fertile. But we pray that you fertilize our proverbial hearts, As you mold it and prune it to your will, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
Cut
Abba.
off those things that is not of you. Reveal things that is not of you so that we can receive all that you have for us,
Yes,
Abba
Abba.
Yahuwah.
Yes, Abba.
Your word declares that you only chastise those that you love,
Yes,
Abba Yahuwah.
Abba.
And that you were not willing that any should perish, but all should come to the knowledge of your truth, Abba.
Yes, Abba.
So as obedient children, reveal all that you have. Have compassion on us, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes,
And
Abba.
esteem yourself. And reveal more to us, Abba Yahuwah, so that we can be refreshing to your, and our prayers will be a sweet smelling savor into your nostrils,
Yes,
Abba
Abba.
Yahuwah.
Yes, Abba.
So we thank you, Abba, for having compassion and love over us this day. Continue to do your kadosh things to us, Abba Yahuwah. Continue to pour out your latter rain anointing on us, Abba Yahuwah.
Yes, Abba. Yes,
Continue
Abba.
to do as you please with us, Abba Yahuwah. And every word that you speak, Abba Yahuwah, we will be obedient to it
Yes,
and walk
Abba.
circumspectly so
Yes,
that we
Abba.
can be your children.
Yes,
In the
Abba.
name of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes,
Basham Yahusha.
So be it. So be it.
Barak Yahuwah. So be it.
Thank you, Abba.
So be it. So be
Thank
it.
you, Abba.
We worship you. How worthy is your name. How worthy is your name. We worship you. How worthy is your name.
Thank you, Abba.
How worthy is your name. How worthy is. How worthy is your name. How worthy is your name. How worthy is. How worthy is your name. How worthy is your name. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. I don't know about you, Miss Parker, but he means everything to me.
Barak Yahuwah.
He means everything to me.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. He means everything to me. Everything to me. Barak Yahuwah. Everything to me. Everything to me. Barak Yahuwah. Barak
Hey,
Yahuwah.
Daoud, that's how we get crazy doctrines like the Trinity, because we're trying to see deep things that's not in the Bible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a good point. That's a good point. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Go ahead and mute your mics again, Ms. Parker. That's a real good point. Real good point, Brother Randy. Real good point. Barak Yahuwah.
Esteem to Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. You're right. Esteem the Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. So we left off, Ms. Parker, reading YAHUAH'S, Jeremiah chapter 6. I'm just going to read that again, just for continuity's sake, before I get into the next precept. So I'm going to read that again just for continuity's sake. YAHUAH'S, Jeremiah 6 chapter, verse 16 through 19. Beginning at verse 16. Thus said Yahuwah, stand in the ways. And again, the Abarit word here is the rock, and it means a road, as trodden, figuratively, a course of life, or a mode of action. Or a mode of action. Indeed, Yahushua declares, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. And see and ask for the old. For the old. And we discussed before going into the 9th hour worship that this word for old is the Abarit word Alahym. Alahym. And it is Strong's Hebrew 5:9, 5:6. And it means to conceal, to hide, be hidden, be concealed, be secret, properly concealed. That is the vanishing point. Many can't find this road because they won't obey the simple milk of the word. They won't obey it. And they can't find this road. And we can't walk this road unless the living Torah lives in our hearts. We can't find this road and we cannot walk this road unless the living Torah lives in our heart. And so reading further, it says general time out of mind, past or future. That is practically eternity. Practically eternity. And we understand that the only eternal one is Yahuwah. Yahuwah is the only eternal one. He is the only all-existent one. He is the only eternal one. Indeed, this path, this beaten path, as we're going to read here, this beaten path is the path everlasting. This beaten path is Torah. He is the living Torah. And this path, which is eternal, is well beaten. Because as Abba has revealed, before anything was created, he did what? He walked back and forth in eternity. He walked back and forth in eternity. Indeed, he walked back and forth on this road, on the ancient path of Torah, because he is Torah. And so this path, search for the old paths. And this word for path is Nathiib. And it means a beaten track or path, a beaten track or path. Indeed, the path everlasting, the ancient path, the path of Torah is well beaten, because even in eternity, before anything was created, Yahuwah walked back and forth in eternity. Where the good way is, indeed, he is the way and the truth and the life, and walk in it. And walk in it. Indeed, his word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. And find rest and find shalom. And find shalom. I pray that you understand that the only way to enter into rest, everyone mute their mics, please. To enter into Yahuwah's rest, to enter into the eternal Shabbat, into the eternal rest, is to walk this ancient path. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The only way to find rest, both now and eternally, is to walk this ancient path. If you don't have rest in your life, if you don't have shalom in your life, I don't care what's going on in your life. Most of us got things going on in our lives. It does not matter what's going on in your life. If you are walking this ancient path, you can still have rest and shalom in your life. Yes, you can. I'm a testimony of it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you don't have rest in your life right now, if you don't have shalom in your life right now, guess what? You ain't on this path. You're not walking this path, which means that you veered off of this path somehow. And now you're walking in, and you may even be walking in shade right now. But guess what? Shade is still darkness. Either you're walking in light or you're walking in darkness. There is no in between. So shade is still darkness. And so if you don't have this shalom, which only comes from Yahuwah, because Yahuwah is shalom. He is rest. He is rest. And he's not going to give his rest where there is chaos. If there is chaos or disorder or darkness in the midst, he's not going to give you rest. He's not going to give you shalom. And so I pray that this is causing someone whom this may be resonating with to take an introspective look at your life and at your walk, to find out if whether or not you are truly walking in this ancient path. Because if you are, irrespective of what you're going through, there should be shalom. There should be rest in your life. Yes, there should. Yes, there should. And the fruit of the root is what? Love, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. Trustworthiness, gladness. Trustworthy, gladness, gentleness, and shalom. And shalom, this is the fruit of the root. This is the character and the characteristics of having a Ruach HaKadosh in your life. Where he is, this fruit ought to exist. And part of the fruit is shalom. And so if he is in you and you are in him, then you ought to have shalom. And if he is in you, then that means that you are what? you are walking the ancient path. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. How, messenger? Because he is the ancient path. He is the ancient path. And I raised up watchmen over you and said, listen to a voice of a shofar. But they said, we do not listen. Therefore hear, you nations, and know, O congregation, what is upon them. Hear, O earth, see, I am bringing evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened to my words, to my Torah, nor my Torah, and they rejected it. And they rejected it. Indeed, before we cut off, we said that if you're rejecting the ancient path, then you're rejecting Torah, because Torah is the ancient path. Torah is Yahuwah, who is the ancient path. He is the only one that is ancient. He is the only one who is eternal. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Psalms, Alahym 119, 165. Psalms 119, 165. Barak Yahuwah. Alahym, Psalms 119, 165. It says, what we just read, search for the ancient path. Thus says Yahuwah, stand in the ways. Stand in the ways and ask for the old. And ask for the old paths. What a good way is. And walk in it. And walking it. And what? And find rest. And find shalom for yourselves. And find rest and find shalom for yourselves. So we find here in Psalms 119, 165, great shalom. Great shalom, great rest have those loving your Torah. And for them, there is no stumbling block. Great shalom have those loving your Torah. And for them, there is no stumbling block. And so find the ancient paths and walk in them. And find what? And find rest for your nefash. And find rest for your nefash. And find rest for yourselves. Alahym 119, 165. Great shalom have those loving your Torah. And for them, there is no stumbling block. Now, what is this word here for shalom? In the Abarit, it is Strong's Hebrew 7965. And indeed, it is shalom. This is a transliteration. It is Shin Lamed U Mam. Shin Lamed U Mam. It can also be transliterated as shalom or Shin Lamed Mam. Shin Lamed Mam. Shalom. Shalom or shalom. They both mean the same. They both mean the same. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means safe. That is figuratively, well, glad, friendly. Also abstractly, welfare. That is health, prosperity, shalom. Favor, friend, Greek, good, health. Where's the word I'm looking for? Right here. Rest. It also means rest. It also means rest. So great shalom, great rest have those loving his Torah. Great rest have those loving his Torah. Indeed, the Torah is the ancient path. The Torah is the ancient path. Yahuwah is the living Torah. He is the eternal Torah, which has no beginning and no end. And so if we walk the ancient path with him, then we will find rest for our beings. Indeed, a couple of Shabbats ago, we discovered that we were his rod, or that we are his rod. We are his Shabbat. We are his walking stick. We are his punishing stick. We are his rod of war. But I draw your attention that we are his walking stick by which he walks up and down in the Arats with. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. When he is in us and we are in him, when we walk to and fro upon the Arats, he uses us as his walking stick because he is Sadak and he will not come where he has no legal right to be. He has given the earth to the realm of flesh. And so in order for him to legally operate in the Arats, he must have flesh to operate in it. And so we, as his Shabbat, as his rod, he uses us to what? To walk to and fro upon the Arats. To and fro upon the Arats. To walk the ancient path. To walk the ancient path. To show others through his living Torahs, through the Torah made flesh in us, how to walk the ancient path. how to walk the ancient path. This is what we are to show mankind, is how to walk the ancient path, because only on the ancient path will we find life. Will we find life? Barak Yahuwah. 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter. This is a precept here to Psalms 119, 165, which says, Great shalom have those loving your Torah, and for them there is no stumbling block. For them there is no stumbling block. Let's look at 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 through 16. 1 Peter chapter 4. Chapter 2, I'm sorry. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 through 16. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 through 16. Drawing near to him a living Abban, a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by Alahym and precious. You also, as living stones, as living Abanim, are being built up a spiritual house, a separate priesthood, Kahana, to offer up spiritual slaughter offerings acceptable to Alahym through Yahushua Mashiach. Because it is contained in the scripture, see, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, chosen, precious, and he who believes on him, on who? On the Torah. On the Torah shall by no means be put to shame. Shall by no means be put to shame. Why will they not be put to shame? We understand that shame is requisite or symbolic of nakedness. Shame is symbolic of nakedness. When we walk in the Torah, when we walk the ancient path, we have no shame, because why? He covers our shame. He covers our nakedness. He clothes us in his righteousness. Indeed, Torah is righteousness. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Torah is Yahuwah. Yahuwah is righteousness. Yahuwah Zadakanu. Yahuwah our righteousness. And so when we believe and walk in this path, when we believe on him, the living Torah, when we believe on Torah and walk the ancient path, we're not put to shame. We're not put to shame. Everyone who is not walking on the ancient path, whether they know it or not, are shameful. They're naked. All of their goodies are out. They just don't know it. They're shamed. They're shameful. They're criminals. They're crooked. They just don't know it. They just don't know it. And they don't know it because they reject Torah, which shines light on shame. Which shines light on shame. And so us who are walking the ancient path, we're not put to shame. We're no longer naked because he has clothed us in his righteousness, which is Torah, which is himself. This preciousness then is for you who believe. But to those who are disobedient to what? To the Torah, to the ancient path, to the ancient path. The stone which the builders rejected has become a chief cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling, and a stone of stumbling. Now, in Alahym 119, 165, it says, Great shalom have those who love his Torah, and in them is found no stumbling. In them is found no stumbling. Here, to those who are disobedient to the ancient path, who are disobedient to the Torah, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, a stone of stumbling, and a rock that makes for falling. Who stumble because they are disobedient to the word. They stumble because they're disobedient to Torah. We got to get back to the ancient path. It's not that complicated. We got to get back to the ancient path. And we've got to understand how to find Yahushua and Yahuwah in the ancient path. We've got to understand how to find Yahushua in the word. We've got to understand how to find him in the Torah. How to find Yahuwah in the Torah. And be obedient to him. And be obedient to the Torah, because he is the Torah. Who stumbled because they are disobedient to the Torah, to which they also were appointed. But you are a chosen race. Why? Chosen for what? The Torah was given to us The Torah was given to us. It was given to no other race. It was given to us so that we would become, so that the Torah would become flesh in us, so that the Torah would be made flesh in us, so that we would become a royal kahana, a royal priesthood, so that we could then go to the nations to be living lights, to be living Torahs, to teach them the ancient path. To teach them the ancient path so that the nations, through us, are reconciled back to Yahuwah, back to the everlasting covenant, through his chosen people. A Kadosh nation, a people for a possession, that you should proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness, out of Torahlessness, into his marvelous light, into obedience of Torah, into the ancient path, who once were not a people, but now the people of Alahym, who had not obtained compassion, but now obtained compassion. Beloved ones, I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims. As sojourners and pilgrims, what does a sojourner and a pilgrim do? They travel. Travel what? The ancient path, the ancient road, the ancient path. I appeal to you as sojourners. Mute your mics, Ms. Parker. I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims to abstain from fleshly lusts, which battle against the Nephash. Everyone mute your mics, Ms. Parker. Everyone please mute your mics. There's a lot of feedback. I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims to abstain from fleshly lusts, which battle against the being. Now, if we're walking the ancient path, as our beloved brother spoke earlier, we got to come out of our comfort. We got to come out of our comfort zone. If we are walking the ancient path, listen, there were no comforts in the antiquity of time. We didn't have these comforts. If you follow the ancient path, then you're going to come out of your comfort zone. Yes, you will. You have no choice but to come out of your comfort zone if you are truly walking the ancient path, because the ancient path is going to bring you out of your comfort zone. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're talking ancient. We're talking antiquity. We're talking Alahym. There's no comforts there. There's no comforts there. And so if we're walking that, if we're truly walking this path with the living Torah being written upon our hearts, then this becomes an oxymoron. Battling with fleshly lust at war against the Nephash. This becomes an oxymoron if you're truly walking the ancient path. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I appeal to you as sojourners and pilgrims to abstain from fleshly lusts, which battle against the being, having your behavior among the nations good, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, let them, by observing your good works, esteem Alahym in a day of visitation. What good works? The works of Torah. The works of Torah. The Torah being made flesh in us. The Torah being made flesh in us. Be subject to every institution of man because of the master, whether to the sovereign as supreme, or to governors as to those who are sent by him for the punishment of doers of evil, and a praise for those who do good. Because such is the desire of Alahym, that by doing good, that by doing Torah, you should put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free, yet not using your freedom as a cloak for evil, but as servants of Alahym. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. So Yahusha is the living Torah. We're still talking about the ancient path, but he is the ancient path. Torah is the ancient path. Torah was in the beginning. Torah is ancient. Only Yahuwah is Alahym. Only Yahuwah is ancient. Only Yahuwah is eternal. He is the living Torah. Yahuwah is the living Torah. He is the living Torah. And he walked in the ways of the fathers. He walked the ancient path. If you pay attention to him, he shows you the ancient path. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. If you pay attention to him, he shows you the ancient path. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He is qualified to show you the ancient path because he was walking the ancient path before anything was made. Before anything was made, he was walking to and fro in eternity. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And so then the ancient path, the Torah, became flesh. To what? To show us how the Torah is to become flesh in us. And to show us how to walk the ancient path. If you're paying attention to him. If you're paying attention to him, he's showing us how to walk the ancient path. Because he is the ancient path. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And you know what else? He walked in the ways of our fathers. He walked in the ways of our fathers who also walked in the ways of the ancient path. Yes, he did. And yes, they did. He walked in the way of Abraham. He walked in the way everlasting because indeed Torah is everlasting. The ancient path is everlasting. Before anything was made, he walked to and fro in eternity. He walked the ancient path to and fro on it before anything was created. He walked in Torah. He came to a people steeped in the traditions of men to turn them back to the ancient path, to turn their hearts, their wicked hearts, back to Torah. And in this time, and in this season, he is sending out watchmen. He is sending out shepherds. He is sending out he is sending out voices crying out in the wilderness to call his people out from darkness back to the ancient path of Torah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Torah is not only the ancient path. Torah is not only the way everlasting, but Torah is the way back to Yah. It is the way, the truth, and the life. Torah is the way, the truth, and the life. Yahuwah, who is the living Torah, is the way and the truth and the life. Indeed, when we looked at way in the Greek, it is a road. Way means a road, And so he is the ancient path. Torah is the ancient path. Torah is the ancient path. It is the way back to Yahuwah. Inclusive of the offerings and the makuatabalah. Everything in Torah is the ancient path and the way back to Yahuwah. Even the offerings. Many falsely believe that the offerings are done away with. They're not done away with. They have been merely moved from arats into shamayim. And they have not been wholly moved into shamayim because we are the offerings. He has revealed to us that we are the offerings. And so we come to him at the 3rd and the 6th and the 9th hour, bringing him his offerings. So not even the offerings are done away with. Mute your mics, Mishpaka. Mute your mics. There's a lot of feedback. So Torah is the way back to Yahuwah, inclusive of the offerings and the makuah tabalah, which is the immersion, which are all in accordance with Torah. Torah is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through Torah. No man comes to the Father except through Torah, except through him, except to the ancient path, except through the ancient path. There is only one way. There is only one way. I pray that you understand what the narrow road is now, what the narrow path is now. It is Torah. It is the ancient way. It is the ancient path. This is where we will find rest for our nefesh. Indeed, great shalom have those loving his Torah, and in them is found no stumbling. And in them is found no stumbling. Torah is the way back to Yahuwah. We've got to get back to the ancient paths. We've got to get back to the basics. We've got to get back to the pure, unadulterated milk of the word and stop looking for the deeper things. Indeed, the deeper things are hidden and embedded in the simple things. In the simple things. Not only that, but even the knowledge and the understanding and the deeper things that we think we know. When we are gathered, all of these things are going to cease. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It is written that knowledge is going to cease. Prophecy is going to cease. Tongues are going to cease. The only thing that we're going to bring with us is love. The only thing that we're going to bring with us is what? It's Torah. It's Torah. This is the only thing that we're going to bring with us is Torah. Is prophecy Torah? Is knowledge Torah? Knowledge is Torah. Knowledge is Torah. Knowledge is Torah. But we're not going to have a need for knowledge and we're not going to have a need for prophecy, and we're not going to have a need for tongues, because at that time we're going to see Abba Yahuwah face to face. And nothing will be hidden from us. There will be nothing hidden from us. Everything that he knows, we will know. Everything that he knows, we will know. We won't have any need for anything else but love. Anything else but love. And so we've got to get back to the basics. The majority of people are not even taking in and obeying the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, which is the ancient path. They're looking for the ancient path outside of simplicity, when the ancient path is simple. But they're trying to make it difficult. They're trying to make it deep, when the ancient path is simply Yahuwah. The ancient path is simply Torah. Walking in his word, walking in the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Indeed, his word is a lamp unto my feet and a light into my path. Indeed, Yahusha came in the volume of the book. The living Torah came in the volume of the book. Turn to Psalms chapter 40. Alahym chapter 40. Indeed, I don't think we're going to be able to complete this teaching on this Shabbat. I don't think so. We may be here to midnight if we do, and I don't want to hold people to midnight. This teaching may not be completed until either next Shabbat or the next fourth day, because there's many more precepts to go through. Psalms chapter 40, verse 6 through 8. Alahym chapter 40, verse 6 through 8. Slaughtering and meal offering you did not desire. You have opened my ears. Ascending offering and crime offering you did not ask for. Then I said, see, I've come in the scroll, Magillah, a scroll, a roll, a volume, a book, a writing. He came in, the living Torah became flesh. The living Torah became flesh. The Ancient of Days became flesh. The ancient path became flesh in order to teach us the ancient path, in order to show us the ancient path. He came in a volume and scroll of the book, a Safa. It is prescribed for me. I have delighted to do your pleasure, O my Alahym, and your Torah is within my heart, Barak Yahuwah. And your Torah is within my heart, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. If the Torah indeed is within our heart, then he is within our heart. Yahuwah, Yahusha is within our heart. And he keeps us and teaches us to walk in the ancient path. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. We cannot walk in the ancient path or find the ancient path through looking for deep things and looking for knowledge and turning over stones. It is the Ruach of Yahuwah Al-Yun who teaches us secret things, who teaches us the very mind of Yahuwah, who teaches us the very nature and character of Yahuwah, who teaches us to walk in the ancient path, because he is the ancient path. He is the ancient path. Indeed, I call your attention again to Yahukhanan, the first chapter, when he says in the beginning was the Torah, was the word, and the Torah was with Alahym, and the Torah was Alahym. Indeed, he reminds us that before anything was made, that he walked in eternity, to and fro in eternity, before anything was made. He, the living Torah, the Ancient of Days, the ancient path, walked the path of eternity, walked the ancient path, to and fro in it, before anything was made. And only he can show us and teach us the ancient path. You see, not even our ancient fathers can teach us the authentic ancient path, because it was even taught to them. It was even taught to them. The ancient path had to teach them how to walk in him, how to walk the ancient path. And then they in turn pass down that knowledge down to us. If you are desiring this milk, this pure milk, the pure milk of the word, desiring the simple, pure milk of the word, humbling yourself as a little child, as a little babe, seeking the pure milk of the word, not acting like you're something when you're nothing, not acting like you know, you got to find the deep things so that you can have a platform. He's not looking for, he rejects you. He rejects these people. He's looking for the humble, the simple, the meek, who are simply looking for the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, which teaches us the ancient past. Let's look now. Let's look now at the second book of Canute. The second book of Canute. It's called the Book of Secrets. It's called the Book of Secrets, but it is the second book of Canute, or the second book of Enoch. I want to show you something there. Abba wants to show us something there. If you don't have it in hard copy, you can Google it right now. You can Google it. You can Google the Book of Secrets, or the second book of Canute. And we're going to read from chapter 24. We're going to read from chapter 24. It's called you can either pull it up as the Book of Secrets, and it'll probably come up as the second book of Canute. And we're going to read chapter 24. Chapter 24. We're going to read here chapter 24. I'll wait just a moment while you're trying to find this. Barak Yahuwah.
Is it in the Sefer?
It's not there. It's not in the Sefer.
Okay.
What's in the Sefer is the first book of Canute, the first book of Enoch. This would be, if you Google it, it'll be either the second book of Enoch or the Book of Secrets, or the Book of Secrets. And I'm reading from chapter 24, beginning at verse 1. And Yahuwah summoned me and said to me, Canute, sit down on my left with Gabriel. And I bowed down to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah spoke to me. Canute, beloved, all that you see, all things that are standing finished. Listen, all that you see, all things that are standing finished, I tell you, to you even before the very beginning, even before the very beginning, all that I created from non-being and visible or physical, things from invisible are spiritual. Hear, Canute, and take in these words, for not to my messengers have I told my secret, and I have not told them their rise, nor my endless realm, nor have they understood my creating, which I tell you today. For before all things, listen, for before all things were visible, I alone used to go about in the invisible. I alone used to go about in eternity. So before anything was created, the Ancient of Days, the ancient path, he walked this path. He is the ancient path. He is Torah. Torah is the ancient path. He walked this ancient path, this beaten path. He walked to and fro in eternity before anything was made. And so only he can teach us via his Ruach, via the Torah, via the ancient path being written upon our hearts. Only he can teach us the ancient path. Him and him alone. Him and him alone. Reading here. For before all things were visible, I alone used to go about in the invisible, in eternity. In eternity, things like the sun from the east to the west and from west to east. Is that where I stopped at? Let me read verse 3 again. Actually, let me go to verse 2. Let me start at verse 2 again. And I bowed down to Yahuwah, and Yahuwah spoke to me. Canute, beloved, all that you see, all things that are standing finished, I tell to you, even before the very beginning, even before the very beginning of time, before the very beginning of creation, before anything was created, all that I created from non-being invisible, things from invisible. Hear, Canute, and take in these my words. For not to my messengers have I told my secret, and I have not told them their rise, nor my endless realm, nor have they understood my creating, which I tell you today. For before all things were visible, before all things were created, I alone used to go about in the invisible. I alone used to go about in eternity. Things like the sun from the east to the west, and from the west to the east. And so he's telling us here, when he's saying like the sun from east to west and from west to east, he's telling us before anything was created, he used to go to and fro in eternity. Before anything was created, the ancient path existed before anything was created. And that is why Alahym means eternity. It means beyond the vanishing point. Beyond the vanishing point. This is what Alahym means. Eternity, forever, beyond the vanishing point. And so before anything was created, he was walking to and fro on the ancient path. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He is the ancient path. He is Torah. He is Torah, which is the ancient path. But even the Son has shalom in itself, while I found no shalom, because I was creating all things, and I conceived the thought of placing foundations and of creating visible creation. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Turn to Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter. Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter. So the ancient path is just that. It is Alahym. It is eternity. It is eternity. And so this is why we have to seek the way, the path, the ancient path, everlasting. The way everlasting, which is the eternal Torah, which is Yahuwah, which is Yahusha, which is Yahuwah, Yahusha in us, being written upon our hearts. Whereby now we become the Torah made flesh. And so that now we can show the nations how to walk the eternal path, how to walk the ancient path in the same way that Yahusha taught his people and teaches his people how to walk the ancient path. Barak Yahuwah. Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter, verses 1 through 24. And this is missing. This is missing upon our people. We're too busy bickering about genealogies and bickering on whether or not a man can wear a head covering, and bickering on whether or not Yahusha is Yahuwah, and bickering on whether or not the Mashiach has even come, and bickering on whether or not Esau or Esau is the white man, and just bickering over things that do not matter, and looking for the deep matters, looking for those deep things, so that we can get on Facebook and get on YouTube and make videos and put deep posts, so that men will exalt us, so that we get the favor and the esteem of men rather than the esteem of Yahuwah. We're looking for these things, where Yahusha said, take my yoke upon you. My burden is light. My burden is light, and find rest for your beings. And find rest for your beings. We have found out that he says in Psalms 119, 165, great shalom, great rest have those who love thy Torah, and there is found in them no stumbling. In Jeremiah chapter 6, it says, search for the ancient paths, the old paths, and walk in them, and find what? And find rest for yourselves. Find rest for yourselves. The Torah, walking in the ancient path, is the only place where we can find rest. And this is the only place where the nations can find rest. This is the only path everlasting. And this is the path. This is the path that we have been ordained before the foundation of the earth and the stretching forth of Shamayim to teach them, to teach the nations the ancient path. Barak Yahuwah. But we are too busy worrying about things that do not matter. Things that do not matter. Meanwhile, time is not slowing down. Time is hastening. Time is hastening. And we're hastening towards that time of judgment. We're hastening towards that time when Yahuwah is going to unleash the hunters upon the earth. And if many of us are not careful, we are going to be victims to those hunters. If we're not careful, if we're not listening to the voices of his watchmen, to the voices of his proclaimers, to the voices of those crying out in the wilderness, and teshuvah and turning back from these things that do not matter, and seeking the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, which can what? Which can save our lives. You're going to perish by the hands of these hunters when they come upon the earth in accordance with Yahu, Jeremiah the 16th chapter. Let's look at Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, the 24th chapter, verses 1 through 24. The pure, unadulterated milk of the word, the simple thing, the way everlasting, the ancient path, the ancient path. Listen here. Listen. Chokmah shall praise herself. Chokmah shall praise herself. Chokmah shall praise herself. Barak Yahuwah. And shall esteem in the midst of her people. In the assembly of all Alahym shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power. I came out of the mouth of all Alahym and covered the earth as a cloud. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compass the circuit of Alahym, of Shamayim. Say it ain't so. Chokmah said, I alone compass the circuit of Shamayim and walked in the bottom of the deep. Wow, this Chokmah is very boastful, isn't it? In the ways of the sea and in all the earth and in every people and nation, I got a possession. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let your dwelling be in Yaqub. Let your dwelling be in Yaqub. Indeed, the Torah was given to Yaqub. The Torah was given to Yasha'al. The way everlasting, the ancient path, was given to Yasha'al to teach the nations the ancient path. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And your inheritance in Yasha'al. He created me from the beginning. He created me from the beginning. Aulam. Aulam. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. In the Kadosh tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Likewise, in the beloved city he gave me rest, and Jerusalem was my power. And I took root in an honorable people. And I took root in an honorable people. We're talking about the Torah, the everlasting Torah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Even in the portion of Yahuwah's inheritance. I was exalted like a cedar in Lebanon, and as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Carmon. Listen to how he's talking about his beloved Torah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And I was exalted like a palm tree in Ayin Gadi, and as a rose plant in Yariku, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water. I gave a sweet smell like a cinnamon and asphaltus, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. As the turpentine tree I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and favor. As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love, and reverence, and knowledge, and kadush expectation. I, therefore, being eternal, indeed, no one is eternal but Yahuwah. No one is eternal but Yahuwah. Yahuwah is Chokmah. Yahuwah is Torah. And he has shown us that Torah is the ancient path. That he is the ancient path. This is the path of life. This is the way everlasting. I therefore, being eternal, am giving to all my children which are named of him. Come unto me, all you that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and my inheritance than the honeycomb. They that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. He that obeys me, shall never be confounded. Indeed, there is no stumbling of those who love, found in them those who love his Torah. And they that work by me shall not do amiss. All these things are the Sephar of the covenant of all Alahym. Even the Torah, which Moshe commanded for a heritage unto the assemblies of Yaqub. Faint not to be strong in Yahuwah, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto him, for Yahuwah Shabbat is Alahym alone, and besides him there is no Savior. There is no Savior. So by now, Mispaka, by now, you understand that Torah is the ancient path. That Torah is the ancient path. This is why we have got to yearn for the pure, unadulterated milk of Torah. Because if we expect to enter into eternity, then we must walk the ancient path. We must walk the path, the way everlasting. We must go back to the basics and yearn for the pure, unadulterated milk of Torah, which is the way everlasting. And allow Abba to write his Torah upon our hearts so that we become the Torah made flesh. So that in the same way, Yahusha came to a people who was steeped in the traditions of men, in order to turn them back from the traditions of men, to cause them to tashuba, to repent from the worthless traditions of men, back to the ancient path, so that we too can be used in this manner to show the remnant of mankind how to walk the ancient path, so that the remnant of mankind would be reconciled back to the everlasting covenant with Yahuwah through his living Torahs. Through his living Torahs. Through the Torah made flesh in us. Through the Torah made flesh in us. So that they may be taught the ancient paths. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4. We've wasted too much time. We wasted too much time looking for the deep matters. Looking for the deep things. Not understanding that the deep things are found in the simple things. The deep matters are found in the simple things. In many cases, life cannot be found in the deep things. Life is found in the simple matters. Eternity is found in the simple matters. We're worrying about the deep matters, and eternity is slipping away from us. We must get back to the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, where there is life, which is the ancient path, which is the way everlasting. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 1 through 19. Verses 1 through 19. And now, O Yahshua, listen to the laws and to the right rulings, which I am teaching you to do, so that you live. So that you live, and shall go in and possess the land which Yahuwah, your Alahym, of your fathers is giving you. If you don't understand that we're on our way back to the land, if you want to live, if you want to go to the land, guard the commands. Guard the commands. Get back to the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Walk in it so that you live. And beg Abba to write his Torah upon your heart via his righteous Ruach HaKadosh, Barak Yahuwah, so that the Torah becomes made flesh in us, Barak Yahuwah. And now, O Yahshua, listen to the laws and to the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live and shall go in and possess the land which Yahuwah, Alahym of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you. And this is what the Pharisees were doing. They were adding to the Torah via the traditions of men. They were adding to it via the traditions of men. Do not add to the Torah which I command you, and do not take away from it. And this is what Christianity this is what Christianity specifically does. They take away from it. The other religions just don't obey it at all. Islam obeys some of the Torah, some of it, but they take away and they too add. And do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahuwah, your Alahym. So we are commanded not to add to the Torah and not to take away from it, just to simply obey it. Just to simply obey the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, where there is life. This is the ancient path. Yes, the Torah is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. It lights the ancient path. It lights the ancient path. And it keeps us in the ancient path. It keeps us in the way everlasting, so as to guard the commands of Yahuwah, your Alahym, which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did at Baal Pa'or. For Yahuwah, your Alahym, has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Pa'or. But you, who are clinging to Yahuwah, your Alahym, are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Yahuwah my Alahym commanded me, to do thus in the land which you go to possess. And you shall guard and do them, for this is your Chakma. We just finished talking about Chakma. For this is your Chakma. Torah is our Chakma. Torah is the ancient path. Torah is the way everlasting. It said that Torah was eternal, that Chakma was eternal. Indeed, only Yahuwah is eternal. He is Chakma. He is Torah. He is the everlasting path. He is the way everlasting. He is the ancient path. Barak Yahuwah. For this is your Chakma and your understanding before the eyes of the peoples who hear all these laws. And they shall say, only a Chakam and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which Alahym so near, which has Alahym so near to it, as Yahuwah our Alahym is to us? Indeed, this is what it means in John the 1st chapter. He came to his own, but his own did not receive him. The Torah came to his own. He gave the Torah to no other people but Yashar'al. He gave the Torah. He gave the way everlasting. He showed us the ancient path to show the nations the ancient path. But if we are too preoccupied with the deep matters, with all these other things that do not matter, while rejecting the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, so that it teaches us the ancient path, then we cannot walk in our purpose and our mission to teach the nations the ancient path. We've got to be able to break down this word simplistically to the nations. Simplistically, as feeding babies, as feeding lambs, feeding them the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. We've got to be able to give it to them this way. And we've got to be able to show them Yahusha in the Torah. We've got to show them Yahusha in the Torah and show them that Yahusha is the Torah and that Torah is the way everlasting and that Torah is the ancient path. But if you're looking for those deep things, you're going to miss your calling. And you know what? He gives to each of us a measure. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He gives to each of us a measure. In other words, he gives each of us a talent. Now, you go and you bury that talent if you want to, looking for the deep things. You go and you dig that hole, digging for the deep things, and bury that talent if you want to. The word declares that he's going to call you a wicked servant and have you bound hand and foot and cast into the outer darkness. That's what it says. That's what it says. And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteous right rulings, like all this Torah, which I place before you this day? Only guard yourself and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, the Torah your eyes have seen, the Torah manifesting that your eyes have seen. Indeed, they even rejected, they even rejected the manna, the bread, the lakam from Shamayim, Barak Yahuwah, which was what? Which was the Torah made flesh. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was the manna that they rejected in the wilderness, talking about what is this light stuff that you have given us. Because they looking for the deep things and can't see the simple things right in front of their eyes. The manna, the Alahym Shamayim, the Torah made manifest in flesh right before them. Yes, it was. There's different kinds of flesh. Do you understand? There are different kinds of flesh. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There was a flesh for apples. There was a flesh for peaches. There was a flesh for oranges. And there was a flesh for this manna. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And so this was the Torah made flesh in the wilderness that they rejected, just like they rejected the Torah made flesh in the person of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And many are still rejecting the living bread because you reject the Ruach HaKadosh. You're still rejecting the Alahym Shamayim, the Alahym Shamayim. You're still rejecting the way everlasting because you're looking for the deep matters. You're looking for the deep matters with your simple-minded self. Looking for the deep matters. Not understanding that we're all simple-minded. We're all simple-minded. We're all children. We're all children. And the sooner we start to behave like children, the sooner he will begin to show us the deeper things that are hidden in the simple matters. Only guard yourself and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, and lest they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life. And you shall make them known to your children. Make what known to your children? The Torah. Doesn't say make the deep things known to your children. It says make the Torah known to your children. Make the way everlasting, the ancient path, known to your children. And you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren. The day when you stood before Yahuwah your Alahym in Turah, Yahuwah said to me, assemble the people to me, and I make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear, to revere me all the days they live on the earth, and teach them to their children. And you came near and teach them. Teach what? The Torah, the ancient path, the way everlasting to our children, not the deep things. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the Shamayim, darkness, cloud, and thick darkness. And Yahuwah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words. You heard the living Torah speaking the Torah, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you the covenant which he commanded you to do, the 10 words, the 10 dabarim. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yahuwah commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings. He didn't command them to teach deep things. He didn't command him to teach that Esau is the white man. He didn't command him to teach the esoteric. He didn't command him to teach these things. He commanded him to teach the ancient path. To teach the ancient path, which is the way eternal, which is the way everlasting, which is Torah. And Yahuwah commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahuwah spoke to you at Turah, out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the Shamayim, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. Indeed, Abba spoke earlier that if the world would just come back to the ancient path, which is Torah, that the world would bankrupt Hashatan, it would take away his riches, it would take away his esteem, it would take away his power, it would take away everything from him. There would be no need for anyone talking about the esoteric, trying to open people's eyes to the esoteric. If we just walked in the light would shine the darkness on the esoteric. It would shine the dark on wickedness, shine the light on wickedness. And there would be no need for us. Indeed, Torah is the way and the truth and the life. Torah and Torah alone is the way and the truth and the life. It alone, the pure, unadulterated milk of Torah, is the way and the truth and the life. Everything else is falsehood. Everything else is falsehood. At least you lift up your eyes to the Shamayim and shall see the sun and the moon and the stars. Indeed, in Kazun and Revelation, the 13th chapter, when it talks about the beast, when it talks about the anti-Mashiach, it talks about how the whole earth is going to bow down and they're going to worship him. Why are they going to worship him? Because they're not walking the ancient path. Because if they were walking the ancient path, or if they are walking the ancient path, they're not going to bow to him. The light is going to shine on him, and it's going to reveal who he is. I need you to understand that it's not going to be an easy thing to reveal who the anti-Mashiach is. The world is going to believe that he is the Mashiach. They're going to believe it. They're not going to believe that he's some anti-Mashiach. They're going to believe that he is the Mashiach. And some of the elect are going to be fooled. And so if we must get back to the basics, to the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, which is the ancient path. And if we're walking the ancient path, which is eternal, we cannot be deceived by Hashatan. We will not be deceived by him. We cannot and will not be deceived by the beast, by the anti-Mashiach, whom the Ruach of Hashatan is going to inhabit. Barak Yahuwah. At least you lift up your eyes to the Shamayim and shall see the sun and the moon and the stars and all the host of the Shamayim. And you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Yahuwah your Alahym has allotted to all the peoples under the Shamayim. If we would just get back to the ancient path, to the ancient path, to the way everlasting, to the good way where there is rest for our souls, where there's rest for our nefesh, then we can get about the work, or go about the work of allowing Abba to use us as living Torahs, so that through us he can reconcile the nations back to himself, back to the everlasting covenant with him, and through us teach the nations how to walk the ancient path. If we stop the bickering and stop the trying to dig into every deep rabbit hole and stop looking for the deep thing and just come back to the simplicity of the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, in which deep things are hidden, if we approach it simplistically, as little children, desiring the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, and where life is found, and where rest is found, and where eternity is found. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. So now let's take a look at, now that we know what the ancient path is, what the ancient road is, let's take a look, and I'm only going to read. We're gonna look at the example of 3 people, but we're not going to finish this Shabbat. We're not going to finish this Shabbat. It'll be too long. But we're going to look at the example. We have the example of Yahusha. Indeed, we have the example of Yahusha if you have eyes to see. We have the example of Yahusha of how to walk the ancient path. But we're going to take a look too at some of our ancient fathers. We're going to look at the example of Canuk. And we're going to look at the example of Nuach. And we're going to look at the example of Abraham, in allowing our ancient fathers, our righteous ancient fathers, to show us how to walk the ancient path. How to walk on the ancient path. But today, we're only going to look at Canuk. We're only going to look at Canuk. Maybe next 4th day of next Shabbat, we'll take a look at Nuach and Abraham. We'll take a look at Nuach and Abraham. Turn Mishpaka to Yashar, or Jasher, chapter 2. Yashar, Jasher, chapter 2. Yashar, or Jasher, chapter 2. Thank you, Abba. Yashar or Jasher, chapter 2. Yashar, Jasher chapter 2, verse 37. Verse 37. Listen. And Mahal-La'al, the son of Kainan, lived 65 years, and he begot Yerad. And Yerad lived 62 years, and he begot Kanuk. And he begot Kanuk. And he begot Kanuk. Now, what we need to understand before we move on is that Mahal-La'al was a righteous man. Yes, he was. Kainan was a righteous man. Yes, they were. Yerad was a righteous man. Yerad means to descend. In the English translation, they call him Jared. But Yerad was a righteous man, which means to descend, because in his days, the 200 watchers descended upon the earth. And so these are righteous men teaching their sons. Teaching them what? Teaching them the ancient path. Teaching them Torah. Teaching them how to walk in the way everlasting, which we are commanded in the Torah to teach our children. To teach our children the ancient path. To teach them the way everlasting. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And Yerad lived 62 years and begot Kanuk. And all of these righteous men are descended from Adam. They're descended from Adam, and by extension, they are descended from his firstborn, who is Seth, Ashah, who was also a righteous man. Indeed, the text declares that Yahuwah gave him another son like him after Habal was taken. And so both Habal and Shaph were like their father Adam. These were righteous men. The Torah was taught to the way everlasting, the ancient path, was taught to Adam. Adam taught his sons. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He taught his sons. Cain rejected the Torah. He didn't want the Torah. He rejected it. And all those who reject the ancient path are seed of Cain. They are descendant of Cain. They are sons of Cain, who is what? Who is a son of Hashatan. And so all those who reject Torah are seed of Hashatan, as Cain rejected Torah and as Hashatan rejected Torah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The Torah is everlasting. The ancient path is everlasting. Hashatan rejected Torah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He rejected it. And thus he was cast out of the very presence of Yahuwah. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And all those who follow him, and all those who are children of Cain, they too reject the ancient path. They too reject Torah. And so Abba taught his righteous children. He taught his righteous children beginning with Adam. He taught his righteous children Torah. He taught them the ancient path, the way back to him. The way back to him. Torah is the way, the truth, and the life. Torah is the way back to him after the fall. He began to teach them Torah. He began to teach them his commandments, which is the way back to him. In the garden, he gave him one command. He gave him one Torah. Do not partake of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This is the only commandment he gave him. Actually, he gave him two. He told him not to partake of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and he told them to be fruitful and to multiply. So he gave them two commands in the garden. Two. After the fall, he began to teach his son Torah, and began to teach his son, Torah instructions, which is the way, the ancient path, which is the way back to him. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And then Adam, in turn, taught Habal. Cain killed Habal. Cain was taught as well, but he rejected it. Abba then gave Adam a son to replace Habal, one that was like him. He taught him Torah. Yes, he did. And then Seth taught his son Torah. And then he taught his son Torah. They all taught their sons the ancient path. Yes, they did. And so Kanuk is descended from Seth. He is descended from Adam through Seth. Yes, he is. As is Yaqub. As is Abraham. As is Noach. As is Abraham and Ishak and Yaqub. as is Yahusha, as is Alahym, as is Yahusha, descended from Adam through South, Barak Yahuwah. And so all of these walked the ancient path. They walked the path everlasting. They walked the path of Torah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And so Torah was passed down through them. It was taught to Abraham by Nuach and by Shem and by Eber. It was taught to Nuach by Canuk and by Methuselah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And so there's nothing new under the sun. And now we are to teach our children the way everlasting, the ancient path. And we are to teach the nations this ancient path, so that the nations are reconciled back to Yahuwah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we are to show them Yahusha in the Torah. We are to show them Yahusha in the Torah. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Turn now to the next chapter, Jasher chapter 3. Yashar chapter 3. Jasher chapter 3. And Canuk lived 65 years, and he begot Methuselah. And Canuk walked with Alahym. And Canuk walked, the operative word is walk. Indeed, he walked the ancient path, the way everlasting. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Listen here. And Canuk walked with Alahym after having begot Methuselah. And he served Yahuwah. In the traditional 66, it says, and he walked with Alahym, and then he was taken. And then he was taken. To walk with Alahym means to walk the ancient path. It means to walk in Torah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because Torah is the ancient path. And Canuk walked with Alahym after having begot Methuselah. And he served Yahuwah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. This is the ancient path. This is the ancient path. And he served Yahuwah. And he did what? And he despised the evil ways of men. And he despised the evil ways of men. As do I. Yes, I do. I despise wickedness. I despise the evil ways of men. I am wrapped up in the adore of my Father's house. Yes, I despise wickedness. I despise these malignant ruachs. And I can't wait till they're bound hand and foot and cast into the eternal fire. I can't wait. I despise wickedness. The adore of my Father's house has eaten me up. And he despised the evil ways of men. And the soul, listen here, listen. And the nephash of Canuk was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. And the nephash of Canuk was wrapped up in the Torah of Yahuwah. Torah means instruction. Torah means instructions. And so Canuk wasn't wrapped up in the deep things. He wasn't wrapped up in the deep matters. The deep matters were revealed to him. Why? Because he was wrapped up in the Torah. He was wrapped up in the simple things. And in the simple things, Yahuwah revealed deep matters to him. He revealed the way everlasting, the ancient path to him. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he served Yahuwah and despised the evil ways of men. And the nephash of Canuk was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. Oh, I love this. And the nephash of Canuk was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. You see, this is the ancient path. I pray that you're paying attention. The ancient path is to be wrapped up. It's to be wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. Because the ancient path is the instruction of Yahuwah. The ancient path is Torah. And if you're not wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah, then you're not on the ancient path. You're not on the ancient path. And the nephash of Canuk was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah, in knowledge and in understanding. We understand that knowledge and understanding is the instruction of Yahuwah. In accordance with Dabarim chapter 4, knowledge and understanding is Torah. It is the ancient path. It is the ancient way. It is the instruction of Yahuwah, which is Torah. And he prudently retired from the sons of men. And he prudently retired from the sons of men. Barak Yahuwah. Wherefore? come out from among them. Be ye separate. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Did you think this was new? Barak Yahuwah. This is no new thing. This is no new thing. Because their wicked ways contaminate. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Their wicked ways contaminate. They contaminate. Now, we cannot completely withdraw ourselves from men. We cannot completely withdraw ourselves from men. But we are to completely withdraw ourselves from brothers who call themselves brothers who do not walk this ancient path, who are faking it until they make it. Or we can withdraw from them who are mixing the clean with the unclean, who are mixing wickedness with righteousness. Oh, we can withdraw from them. But the sons of men, it is expected of us to be living Torahs to them, to be living Torahs to them, to teach them the path everlasting, to teach them the way everlasting, to teach them the ancient path, to be living Torahs to them. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And he prudently retired from the sons of men and secreted himself from them for many days. And it was at the expiration of many years, while he was serving Yahuwah and praying before him in his house, that a messenger of Yahuwah called to him from Shamayim. And he said, here am I. And he said, rise, go forth from your house and from the place where you do hide yourself, and appear to the sons of men. And this is why Abba has spoken through his servant, that we must allow him to prepare us. Our nafash must be wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah and the pure, unadulterated milk of Yahuwah before he can send us amongst the nations to teach them the ancient path. How can we teach them the ancient path if we don't know the ancient path? So we have to spend time with him in his presence, being wrapped up in his instruction. Being wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. Being wrapped up in the Torah, in the ancient path. Barak Yahuwah. Got a little excited and knocked over my camera. Barak Yahuwah. We've got to be wrapped up in his instructions and to secrete ourselves and allow him to prepare us. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than Facebook. It's bigger than YouTube. There is a worldwide assignment that he has for us. And we must be like our righteous father Canute and be wrapped up in his instruction. And allow our nafash to be wrapped up in the ancient path and learning the ancient path, so that he can then send us to the nations to teach them the ancient path, so that they too can find life. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Then a messenger of Yahuwah called to him from Shamayim, and he said, here am I. And he said, rise, go forth from your house and from the place where you do hide yourself, and appear to the sons of men, in order that you may what? That you may teach them. That you may teach them the way, the ancient path. Indeed, going back in the first hour that we were reading, when we read John 14, and we read that word for way, which is the Greek hodos, which means a road, a path. This is the ancient path. He taught men the ancient path. And as children of light, and as Kahanan, as a royal priesthood, as a royal Kahanan, we too have been given the assignment to teach men the ancient path which leads to life. We're not called to teach them the deep things. We're called to teach them the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, the ancient path. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. In order that you may teach them the way in which they should go, and the work which they must accomplish, to do what? To enter in the ways of Alahym. To enter in the ways of Alahym. To enter in the way everlasting. To enter into the ancient path. To enter into the ancient path. And Canute rose up according to the word of Yahuwah, and went forth from his house, from his place, and from the chamber in which he was concealed. And he went to the sons of men and taught them the ways of Yahuwah. He taught them the ancient path. Indeed, the way is a road, is a beaten path. He taught them the ancient path, the ways of Yahuwah. He taught them the Torah of Yahuwah, the instruction of Yahuwah, the same instruction in which his Nephash was wrapped up in. And at that time assembled the sons of men and acquainted them with the instruction, with the Torah of Yahuwah. And he ordered it to be proclaimed in all places where the sons of men dwelt, saying, where is the man who wishes to know the ways of Yahuwah, the ancient path, and good works? Let him come to Kanuk. And all the sons of men then assembled to him. For all who desired this thing went to Kanuk. And Kanuk reigned over the sons of men according to the word of Yahuwah. Indeed, those of us who overcome, those who walk this ancient path, he is going to make us rulers. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We're going to reign with him. And we're going to rule with a rod of iron. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. This is in the text. This is in the text. And they came and bowed down to him, and they heard his word. And the Ruach, Barak Yahuwah, and the Ruach Alahym was upon Kanuk. Indeed, if the Ruach Alahym is not upon you, you can't teach the ancient path. You can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. I don't care how much book knowledge you have. If the Ruach Alahym is not upon you, you cannot teach the ancient path. No, you can't. No, you cannot. And the Ruach Alahym was upon Kanuk. And he taught all his men the Chachma, the Torah of Alahym, and his ways, the ancient path. And the sons of men served Yahuwah all the days of Kanuk. And they came to hear his Chachma, the Torah. And all the Malachim, the sovereigns of the sons of men, both first and last, together with their princes and judges, came to Kanuk when they heard of his Chachma. And they bowed down to him. And they also required of Kanuk to reign over them, to which he consented. And they assembled in all 130 Malachim, kings or sovereigns and princes. And they made Kanuk Malach over them, and they were all under his power and command. If you can understand and perceive, this is a foreshadowing for his people. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Ruling as priests. Ruling as priests. And if you can understand, ruling as Melchizedek. Yes, ruling as Melchizedek. We are a priesthood, a royal kahana, in the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek means my sovereign is righteous. It also means sovereign and priest. Sovereign and kahan. And so we're going to rule as both sovereigns and kahan. Indeed, this is what Yahshua means, to rule with Alahym. It means to rule with Alahym. It also means upright with Alahym, or upright one of Alahym. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And Kanuk taught them Chachma, knowledge, and the ways of Yahuwah. And he made shalom amongst them.
Shalom, Aki.
Shalom, shalom. Can you mute your mics, Ms. Parker?
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Unless you had a question. Did you have a question? Did you have a question or a comment?
No, Aki, I had just tuned in.
Okay. All right. Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. Let me start. And all the Malachim of the sons of men, both first and last, together with their princes and judges, came to Kanuk when they heard of his Chachma. And they bowed down to him, and they also required of Kanuk to reign over them, to which he consented. And they assembled in all 130 Malachim and princes, and they made Kanuk Malach over them, and they were all under his power and command. And Kanuk taught them Chachma. He taught them Torah, knowledge, and the ways, the ancient path of Yahuwah. And he made shalom amongst them. And shalom was throughout the earth during the life of Kanuk. And Kanuk reigned over the sons of men 243 years. And he He did right ruling and righteousness with all his people, and he led them in the ways, in the ancient path of Yahuwah. Yes, he did. And these are the generations of Canuk, Methuselah, Al-Isha, and Ali-Malak. 3 sons, and their sisters were Malka and Nama. And Methuselah lived 87 years, and he begot Lamech. And it was in the 56th year of the life of Lamech when Adam died. 930 years old was he at his death. And his 2 sons with Canuk and Methuselah, his son, buried him with great pomp, as at the burial of kings, of Malachim, in the cave which Alahym had told him. The cave which Alahym had told him, in which I believe is in the middle of the earth. And in that place all the sons of men made a great mourning and weeping on account of Adam. It is therefore become a custom among the sons of men to this day. And Adam died because he ate of the tree of knowledge, he and his children after him, as Yahuwah Alahym had spoken. Indeed, if we walk, though, the ancient path, the way everlasting, it is the way of life. It is the way of life. If we walk the way everlasting, and we find and incorporate Yahusha in the Torah, guess what? We are being delivered from this curse, because Yahuwah bore this curse, and we are being delivered from death. We are being delivered from death. If we stay in the good way, if we hold fast to that which is good and that which is true, if we stay in the ancient path, we will find life. We will find life, and this curse will be reversed on us. But all those who walk contrary to the ancient path, this curse is still upon their heads, and they are going to die. They will die, both a physical death, and they're going to die in the second death. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And so, understanding this truth, their blood is on our head. Their blood is on our heads. If we don't wrap ourselves up in the instruction of Torah, so that we can be living Torahs, to teach them how to walk the way everlasting, to teach them how to walk in the ancient path, so that they will find life. If we don't do this, then their blood is on our heads. We've been given this task. This task has been given to us, like it was given to Canuk. And we must teach the nations, because we are royal Kahanah, who have been given the knowledge of the ancient path, provided that your nefesh has been wrapped up in the Torah, provided that the ruach of Yahuwah Alahym has been placed in your heart. Barak Yahuwah. And it was in the year of Adam's death, which was the 243rd year of the reign of Canuk. In that time, Canuk resolved to separate himself from the sons of men, and to secret himself, as at first, in order to serve Yahuwah. And Canuk did so, but did not entirely secret himself from them, but kept away from the sons of men 3 days, and then went to them one day. 3 days and 3 nights, Barak Yahuwah. And he went and rose on the 4th day, Barak Yahuwah. So he secreted himself for 3 days, and then on the 4th day, he went to them. I pray you can see this in the simple things. 3 days and 3 nights. Canuk was indeed a priest as well in the order of Melchizedek. He was both sovereign and priest. And this is how we are supposed to walk. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you were reborn of the ruach of Melchizedek, this is how we are supposed to walk. And during the 3 days that he was in the chamber, he prayed to and praised Yahuwah, his Alahym. And the day on which he went and appeared to his subjects, he taught them the ways, the ancient path of Yahuwah. And all they asked him about Yahuwah, he told them. And he did in this manner for many years. And he afterward concealed himself for 6 days, and appeared to his people one day in 7. He appeared to them on the Shabbat day. I pray that you can see this in the simple things. And he appeared to his people one day in 7 on the Shabbat day. And after that once in a month. And on the new month. I pray that you can see this. Oh, he taught them Torah. And he walked Torah. He was a living Torah. And after that once in a month on the new month. And then once in a year. On the new year. On a Bee. And then once in a year. Until all the Alahym, princes and sons of men, sought for him. And desired again to see the face of Canute. And to hear his word. But they could not. As all the sons of men were greatly afraid of Canute. And they feared to approach him on account of the Alahym like awe. Of the Alahym like awe. What does this mean? It means he had his bright nature. It means that Canute had the bright nature of Yahuwah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He had some of his bright nature. Some of this bright nature that Yahuwah wants to give us in this season. If you are wrapping yourself, if your nafash is being wrapped up in the Torah and the instructions of Alahym, like Canute was, and like Masha was, who also had some of his bright nature. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. When he went up to the mount the second time, and when he came down, his face shone, his face glowed. He had some of the bright nature of Yahuwah. This bright nature in which he wants to give some of us in this coming season, in order to go to the nations to do what? To teach them the ancient path, to teach them Torah, so as to call them out of darkness into the marvelous light, to call them out of darkness into the ancient path, where they will find rest for their lives, rest for the nafash, and in which if they walk the ancient path, they will live. They will live. But they feared to approach him on account of the Alahym like awe that was seated upon his countenance. That was seated upon his countenance. He's not going to give us this Alahym like awe if we can't even humble ourselves and just dig into the pure milk of the word and divorce this pride and puffed upness, looking for the deep things so that men can exalt us. Alahym, Yahuwah, and Yahuwah alone will exalt us. We don't exalt ourselves. This is the text. This is in Proverbs. We don't exalt ourselves. We allow other men to exalt us. We allow Yahuwah to exalt us. Like he exalted Canute. Like he exalted Canute. If we wrap ourselves up in his instruction and allow him to give us that bright nature so that we are prepared to go to the sons of men, to teach them the ancient path. Why, family? Why? So that they will not perish. So that they will not perish. This is important. So that they will not perish. We've got to come back to the basics and learn the ancient path so that we can teach the nations the ancient path, so that they can walk the path of life, the path everlasting. Barak Yahuwah. Therefore, no man could look at him. Similarly to Masha, they could not look at him. Those who walk closely with Yahuwah can't help but to have this bright nature, but to have this Alahym like awe. And so this is what he is preparing us for. He's trying to prepare us so that we can receive this Alahym like awe, this bright nature, so that what? So that we become living Torahs, so that we become Torahs made flesh. Torah made flesh, just like the Hamashiach, just like the Hamashiach. And if you can understand this, and I'll be speaking to you simply, if you can understand this, he is Hamashiach, which means he is the anointed one. Those that are born of him, truly born of him, are Mashiachs, are anointed ones, anointed ones. And so if we are anointed ones, if we are Mashiachs, and we're not there yet, but he's trying to prepare us for this. If we are Mashiachs, then that means what? That we too are going to become Torahs made flesh. Torahs made flesh, so that we can teach the nations the ancient path. Barak Yahuwah. Therefore no man could look at him, fearing he might be punished and die. And all the Alahym and princes resolved to assemble the sons of men, and to come to Canaan, thinking that they might all speak to him at the time when he should come forth amongst them. And they did so. And the day came when Canaan went forth, and they all assembled and came to him. And Canaan spoke to them the words of Yahuwah, and he taught them chokmah and knowledge. And they bowed down before him, and they said, May the Malach live. May the Malach live. And in some time after, when the Malachim and princes and the sons of men were speaking to Canaan, and Canaan was teaching them the ways, the ancient path of Alahym, behold, a messenger of Yahuwah then called on Canaan unto Canaan from Shamayim, and wished to bring him up to Shamayim to make him reign there over the sons of Alahym, as he had reigned over the sons of men upon the earth. When at that time Canaan heard this, he went and assembled all the inhabitants of the earth, and taught them chokmah and knowledge, and gave them divine instructions. And he said to them, I have been required to ascend unto Shamayim. I therefore do not know the day of my going. Now, before I read on, I want you to understand that Canaan knew about the great deluge. He knew about the destruction that was coming upon the earth. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because he taught his son. And his son taught his son. And his son taught his son Noah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. He knew about the deluge that was coming upon the earth. And so what Abba is showing us here is that he withdrew Canaan before the time of trial came. He withdrew him before the time of trial came because his nefesh was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And for a brief period, he taught the sons of men. Why? So that they would live. So that they would not receive the coming destruction. The coming destruction. Do you understand that he wants to do the same with 144,000 who follows the Torah, who follows the living Torah, the word of the living Torah, wherever he leads them? He wants to do the same with them, to teach the sons of men the ancient path, so that they avoid destruction. So that they avoid destruction. And the same thing he did with Canaan, he's going to do with 144,000. He's going to remove them from the time of trial. They're not going to face the coming destruction. He's going to remove them, being first fruits from the earth. I'm saving them from the time of trial because they are operating like Canaan. They are operating like Melchizedek, being sovereign and priest and teaching the sons of men the ancient path so that they do not die, so that they do not have to suffer destruction. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He is preparing. He's preparing 144,000 to operate just like Canaan. Just like Canaan. But if you are wrapped up in the deep things, wrapped up, just got to know the deep things, whereby you are ignoring the simplistic, pure milk of the word, which is the ancient path, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. You are going to miss it. And now, therefore, I will teach you chokmah and knowledge and will give you instruction before I leave you. He's going to teach him some more Torah. He's going to teach him the ancient path, how to act upon earth, how to act upon earth. Indeed, this is what Torah does. This is what the ancient path teaches us. The ancient path teaches us the path in which we are to walk. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. How to act upon earth, whereby you may live. Whereby you may live. And if we don't teach them this, they're going to die. If we don't teach them this, we are going to die. And so, like Canaan, our nefesh must be wrapped up in the Torah, in the instruction of Yahuwah. Yes, it must. Yes, it must. And he did so. And he taught them chokmah and knowledge and gave them instruction. He taught them Torah. And he reproved them. And he reproved them. He rebuked them. He tested them. And he placed before them commandments and judgments to do upon earth. And he made shalom amongst them. And he taught them everlasting life. He taught them the ancient path. He taught them everlasting life. And dwelt with them some time, teaching them all these things. And at the time, the sons of men were with Canaan, and Canaan was speaking to them. And they lifted up their eyes, and the likeness of a great horse descended from Shamayim. And the horse paced in the air, and they told Canute what they had seen. And Canute said to them, on my account does this horse descend upon earth. Does this horse descend upon earth? Yahu was another who descended in like manner, whose nefesh was wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And who also secluded himself from men to be wrapped up in the instruction of Yahuwah. On my account, does my horse descend upon earth. And he is indeed going to pour out this very same anointing, the Ruach of all Yahu, in these end times, but he's not going to pour it out upon everybody. He's going to pour it out, and it is my belief that he's going to pour it out on 144,000. He's going to pour out this type of anointing upon 144,000. The time has come when I must go from you, and I shall no more be seen by you. And the horse descended at that time and stood before Canute. And all the sons of men that were with Canute saw him. And Canute then again ordered a voice to be proclaimed, saying, where is the man who delights to know the ways, the ancient path of Yahuwah? Alahym, my Alahym. Let him come this day to Canute before he is taken from us. And all the sons of men assembled and came to Canute that day. And all the Malachim of the earth with their princes and counselors remained with him that day. And Canute then taught the sons of men Chokmah and knowledge. He taught them the ancient path. He taught them Torah and gave them divine instruction, Torah. And he bade them serve Yahuwah and walk in his ways, the ancient path, Torah, all the days of their lives. And he continued to make shalom amongst them. And it was after this that he rose up and rode upon the horse, and he went forth, and all the sons of men went after him. About 800,000 men. Indeed, it is my belief that when 144,000 are removed from the earth, that men are going to look for them. They're going to wonder where they have gone. They're going to wonder where they have gone. And those with understanding, those with insight, are going to understand what 144,000 have gone. And they went with him one day's journey. And the second day he said to them, return home to your tents. Why will you go? Perhaps you may die. And some of them went from him, and those that remained went with him 6 days' journey. And Canute said to them every day, return to your tents, lest you die. But they were not willing to return. And they went with him. And on the 6th day, some of the men remained and clung to him. And they said to him, we will go with you to the place where you go. As Yahuwah lives, death only shall separate us. And they urged so much to go with him that he ceased speaking to them. And they went after him and would not return. And when the Malachim, what Abba wants you to understand here is that they attached themselves to him. They attached themselves to him. And if you can understand, the number of 144,000 is given because when he does a census in Yasha'al, he always only counts men. He only counts men. He does not count the women and the little ones and the strangers that are attached to them. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Listen here. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear and understand, and they went after him and would not return, they attached themselves to him. They attached themselves to him. And this is what Abba wants us to do. He wants to send us out so that what? So that they will attach themselves to us. So that they will live. And when the Malachim returned, they caused the census to be taken in order to know the number of remaining men that went with Canute. And it was upon the 7th day. And it was upon the 7th day on the Shabbat. If you can understand, this is the 7th day. This is the millennial rest. This is the first resurrection. This is the first fruit resurrection, when the first fruit are going to resurrect on the 7th day. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It was upon the 7th day that Canute ascended into Shamayim in a whirlwind with horses and chariots of fire. And on the 8th day, all the Malachim that had been with Canute sent to bring back the number of men that were with Canute in that place from which he ascended into Shamayim. And all those Malachim went to the place, and they found the earth there filled with snow. and upon the snow were large stones of snow. And one said to the other, Come, let us break through the snow and see. Perhaps the men that remain with Canute are dead, and are now under the stones of snow. And they searched, but could not find him. And they searched, but could not find him, for he ascended into Shamayim. They couldn't find Canute or the men that followed him. They couldn't find Canute or the men that followed him because they attached themselves. They attached themselves to Canute. They attached themselves to Canute so that they would live. And this is Abba's desire, that the nations would attach themselves to his people, engraft into his people, be taught by his people the ancient paths, so that the nations will live, so that the nations will live, so that they will come out of darkness into his marvelous light. We've finished talking about Canute now. We're going to end this teaching for today. Yahuwah willing, maybe next fourth day or maybe next Shabbat, we'll begin talking a little bit about Methuselah. And more specifically, Abba's going to talk about Nuach, and we're going to talk about Abraham, about how they walk. We're going to take a look at how they walk the ancient path. And you're going to find that the ancient path that they walk is very similar to the ancient path that Canute walked, and very similar to the ancient path that the Hamashiach walked, in order to show us how to walk the ancient path. So we thank you, Abba Yahuwah, for this teaching. We thank you for showing us the ancient path. We thank you for revealing simple things to babes. Simple things, Abba. We thank you for showing that deep things are hidden in the simple things. For those who would humble themselves like babes and children and seek the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, and seek the ancient path, to seek the simplistic ancient path, which is Torah, which is the way everlasting. I pray that thus far, Abba, that this word has not fallen by the wayside, and such that devils or demons have come and snatched this seed away. I pray that this word, this seed, is not fallen on stony ground, such as that it grows up but since it grows up on shallow ground, the sun immediately comes in and beats down on it, and it withers and fades away. I pray that this seed has not been cast amongst thorns, such that the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches is choking out this word, so that the cares and the worries of family life, so that the cares and the desires and the lusts of the flesh would choke out this word, so that it bears no fruit. I pray, though, rather, Abba, that this word has been cast on fertile soil, tilled soil, fertilized soil, so that afterwards your Ruach would come and water this seed, so that this word would grow up into a mighty tree, producing the fruit that leads to everlasting life. Let not one word spoken through your servant fall void to the ground, but let every word spoken accomplish that which you have spoken through your servant to do. And the Basham of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it, so be it, so be it.
So be it.
So be it.